What is up, Buckeye Nation? Flo-Co here from Ohio State Football with Scarlet and Gray right here on YouTube. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We are one day away, folks. One day away. We're going to wake up tomorrow and understand, with the understanding that the Buckeyes are playing. You can sleep in if you want. If you're not working, I'm going to be working. You can sleep in if you want. You can have a nice warm meal for breakfast, have your coffee. Right now, I don't do coffee. I do the vitamin water, but whatever you want to do, Shane does the pre-workout, and you can say to yourself, and just take a deep breath and just say, the Buckeyes are playing 8 months after the Georgia game, and we are finally here. It's a new season, a new slate. We get to see what's going to be and what's not going to be. We can have all the expectations in the world, no matter how unrealistic or realistic they are. Because right now we're 0-0, and we have every shot to go to the national title this year. And right now that may be a little premature, but that's what you're thinking, isn't it? Isn't that what you're thinking when you wake up for a new season and you're just like, okay, let's get started, let's go. And then reality sets in. You watch the game, and you either get a little too overinflated with how good the team is, or you become away underwhelmed. It's a tale as old as time. Tale as old as time. I think Shakespeare wrote about it. It's just it's just how it is with every season. It's like you either get a little, oh man, we just beat Bowling Green by 70 points. Oh my gosh, this team's going all the way. Or, oh my gosh, did we just struggle with so and so? Ah, jeez, this team's going to be bad. Um, we jump to those wild conclusions right off of week one, but that's part of the fun. It's part of the fun of being a fan base, being one of the biggest fan bases in the country. Guys, we're still looking to get to 5,700 subscriptions by Saturday. I'm turning 40 here in less than a week now. Help me out. Birthday present, 5,700 if you can do it by tomorrow. If you can't, it's all good. We tried. We appreciate you anyway. We appreciate you tuning in. You guys have been great and supporting us, and we appreciate you as always. So let's talk about a few things about Indiana, Ohio State. It's 3:30 Eastern, CBS. That still blows my mind a little bit. I never thought I'd see Ohio State on CBS. So what about the game? It's hard to analyze, right? Because we don't know what we're seeing. We don't even know what we're looking at. So we got two. Indiana's got 1,000 transfers basically. So what are we even looking at? They're a robotic. We rebuilt them. We have the technology. We rebuilt them. Team, you don't even know what to expect from. Ohio State has a lot of youth. Some experience, obviously, but a lot of youth and a lot of question marks going into the season. Will some of them get answered? Will we still be left wondering afterwards? I think there are going to be positions that we're still left wondering about. There's positions we expect to be good, like defensive line, for example. We expect them to be pretty good. Obviously, wide receiver, we expect them to be pretty good. Running back, we expect them to be pretty good. But what position is we're gonna come out of this game? We're gonna be. It's inevitable every year, unless we just again Bowling Green 2016 where it's 77-10. Unless we come out where you can't really tell where the flaws are because you're playing a terrible team and you just beat the tar out of them. You're gonna come out of this game. It's a Big Ten opponent. You take them seriously. Maybe we do crush them. We're favored by 30 or so. But if you don't, you can't. What can you take away from it? Um, I think there's going to be a position that leaves us wondering, like it is every year. Like I don't know about that. They didn't really show me anything. I think the offensive line. It's going to be the team. I mean, they have a big senior laden defensive line with a bull position. It's on their home turf. It's at Indiana. How Tom Allen is. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at us. They're going to try to confuse the offensive line, confuse the young quarterback with what they disguise, what their blitz packages are. And there's no question in my mind they're going to do everything they can to get an edge. So how does our offensive line hold up against all these different looks that they're going to try to show them? How does this offensive line are they able to pass block and protect Kyle McCord? Are they able to open up the lanes for the running backs? Is it consistent? Is there going to be spells in the game where we just can't run the ball against Indiana? We can't run the ball. Is there going to be spell like, man, Kyle McCord is running for his life? So that's going to be the question. I don't think it's going to be the whole game where we just get dominated up front. I just think there's going to be spells where they show us some looks that it takes our offensive line a while to adjust to, and then we're left after the game wondering, okay, going forward, is this going to be a strength or a weakness? So that all I would say is don't overreact. Don't think it's going to be the whole season, but will they get better? Will they get worse? obviously I think there's gonna show enough on film where Justin Fry is gonna get to look at it and say, okay, this is where we need to improve. And sometimes that's beneficial for the coaching staffs. Like it doesn't matter that first game if they're perfect or not. It just matters if they play well enough to win, they show some promise, and that they show enough to where okay, now I know where the weaknesses are based on the competition we're playing. Where now I can actually go to the film room and go to the practice field and apply it and say this is where we need to improve. That's where I have faith in Justin Fry. But that being said, I do think after the game, as a fan base, we're going to be kind of, I don't know what to think about that. What position do you think is going to be a pleasant surprise? Again, every year it's like, wow, they played really well. Nobody even talked about it because we don't want to talk about that because it's a positive. We talk about the negative, but let's be positive for a second. What position group is going to say, okay, they're going to play pretty well? I think the secondary is going to show out and play pretty well. Redshirt freshman quarterback Taven Jackson, good player. I'm not knocking him, but he's doesn't have a lot of experience. Um, Figures to be the savior of Indiana football. He's a 6'3", 215-pound guy who can move with the only thing the thing that concerns me more with him is his ability to move with his legs and scramble a little bit, but he is more of a pro style quarterback. They have a redshirt freshman starting at left tackle, I believe. Uh, so I think our pass rush may have a little bit of advantage. Now the rest of the offensive line, seniors, but the with that redshirt freshman at left tackle, either he's really good or they just don't have a lot of options there. Again, we don't know right now so I think the defense line can get pressure. So all of that I think leads to the secondary having a nice day. Now they have size of wide receivers, 6'5", 6'2", 6 foot. But then I mean you with a 6'5" guy, I'm always a little concerned because you go back to 2017 when they could just, you know, they could just back shoulder throw us all day and it was just frustrating as all get out. But I don't know if they have that ability with this team or not. But a little bit of size always concerns you because obviously the catch radius should be good. Obviously, you're running a 6', 6'1" corner against them. I mean, that's typical size for a corner, but you just kind of, that's the physicality there. How good is he? Is he going to be a real problem to stop? All that. But I do think the secondary has a good day with all the talent we've added. Another year under Jim Knowles, Tim Walton, and Perry Eliano. I really like the young talent he had. I love Sonny Styles starting. I think Jahad Carter is going to be a really nice player for Ohio State. I don't know if he shows out this game or not, but obviously you got a lot of good rotational players as well with Proctor, who's got experience. You get Cam Martinez, who's bulked up and got pretty good experience by now. Obviously, the corners like Bennison's there, and Denzel Burke, Jordan Hancock. I'm kind of in Jair Brown. Kind of interested to see maybe do the young guys get to play a little bit like Calvin Simpson, Hunter, Jermaine Matthews, but I think the secondary will actually have a nice day and be a pleasant surprise. Like, wow, they played pretty well. They got 5 or 6 pass breakups, maybe a couple picks. They shut down the passing game pretty well. It'll be interesting. I'm hoping after the end of this game we're like, wow, we feel confident in them. Again, can't just like with the negative, you can't jump to conclusions, but you feel confident in them going forward, especially with Notre Dame looming with Sam Hartman. Who's the new guy? That's what we get every year, right? There's always, I mean, if it's a competitive game anyway, who's the new guy? My first time experiencing this was probably 2014, where I really remember it. Now, there's been other stories, obviously, well before that, but Darren Lee got a lot of hype all throughout the off season, and according to the media. And I rarely listen to media off season hype. Now, back then I was listening to it more, but to this day they're like, this guy is great. I'm okay. We'll see. Darren Lee though had a monster game that game and played really well, and all of a sudden you realize he was a budding star linebacker. J.K. Dobbins against this Indiana team in 2017 comes to mind. It's like Mike Weber was injured. We didn't know what we had with J.K. Dobbins. The first game, we're wow, mind blown. This guy's really good. So who's going to be that new guy that you haven't seen play much, if at all, and you say, wow. And now quarterback's too easy. You can't go quarterback. I mean, I'm not going to say, oh, Kyle McCord. No, I mean, I think Kyle McCord will have a solid day. I don't think he'll necessarily wow anybody. I just think he'll have a nice, solid day and secure himself as a starter going forward. But I can't think. I mean, Henderson is not a new guy. Mayan Williams is not new guys. I mean, these receivers aren't new. We know who they are. You could say maybe Carnell Tate, but we kind of already have him hyped, right? Who's that new guy on the defense or offense? It doesn't matter what position. You say, wow, that guy can flat out play. Um, I guess according to hype, you got to look at two guys, right? Kenyatta Jackson Jr. Does he, when he rotates in the defensive end, does he actually show up and show out? And then of course you go to guys like Carnell Tate, as I just mentioned. Does he come in, spell Julian Fleming or whatever, and actually show that he belongs on the field and show that he needs to play more? Those are a little bit interesting, you know, those are a little bit interesting in my opinion. Does Joe Royer, who didn't get to play, does he actually show a couple nice plays and actually show some blocking that actually sets off the running back a little bit? I mean, it's not as flashy as maybe a Darren Lee or a J.K. Dobbins, but it's something that's very important. We need that two tight end set. We haven't had it very much lately. So the Sonny Styles, I mean, again, it's hard to say that because Sonny we expect to be really good. But does he have that coming out party game where it's like, wow, this dude is a player. He's all Big Ten right now. Um, I mean, and does he have that kind of game? Does Jordan Hancock come out and have a coming out party? I mean, again, we saw him play quite a bit, but he hasn't had a breakout game by any stretch of the imagination. So does he come out and play well? And it's like, that guy's a player. That guy's a dude, played great all game. CJ Hicks maybe rotates in the jack position, rotates into linebacker a little bit. Does he come out and have 2.5 sacks and blow up the backfield a couple times? I mean, that's who is it? Comment below. Who's that new guy that you say he's going to come out and have a great game and you're just wow? Like Michael Hall did it last year against Notre Dame. He just came out and had a monstrous game, the kind of a debut for him. I mean, I know these guys have seen the field before, but I'm saying debut is in they're a fixture in the offense or the defense. So ask yourself, who's going to be that guy? That's part of the fun of watching college football, and especially the first game is all the unknowns, right? Now, some of those times you look at those. Sometimes you look at those unknowns as kind of like in a negative light. It's kind of okay. How are we not going to be as good here? We're not going to be as good here because we jump to those conclusions. So I want to say that don't get carried away. Don't get carried away. Whatever happens tomorrow, it's just one game. If they blow them out 75-0, don't get carried away. It's like it's just one game. Indiana could be horrible, or did they win like 35-17? It's kind of ugly. Again, we just have a lot of bugs to work out. Indiana's better than what we think, that kind of thing. Just don't get carried away. You just don't know. These are all unknowns. Now, I know you want to come out of the first game and like, okay, good, we're challenging for a natty. You just don't know. It's game one. Just enjoy the game. Don't get carried away. I mean, that's the important thing about being a fan. If you're going to actually talk about the Buckeyes, is don't get carried away. Even if one of those new guys blows up, has a great game, you don't know that he's going to do that the whole season. Even if the offensive line isn't quite as good as what you would expect, they doesn't mean they're going to be that way the whole season. And if the secondary is great tomorrow, like I think they can be, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be that all season. So don't get carried away. Enjoy the game and just come away. Look, the best part about these games is talking with your friends and family about the Buckeyes, about the game. It brings us closer together. I know it did with me and my dad. It was my favorite Saturdays on the my favorite Saturdays of my entire life was me and my dad watching the game and then talking about it for hours afterwards. So have a blast, enjoy it, get your brew in the morning and Saturday, and just look forward to the fact we have the Buckeyes playing and we're only one day away. Appreciate you guys as always. Going with a score prediction though. I'm going to say Ohio State wins 38-13 is what I think the score will be. I don't think they'll cover the spread, but I do think they're going to win going away handily, and I think it's going to be a good game and a lot of fun with some question marks, of course. So 38-13 is what I'm going with the final score. Comment below what your final score is going to be. Appreciate you guys as always. Goodbye. God bless. And, of course, go Bucks.